Alright guys, so a lot of people have been asking, compare the Fiddys to the CF-20s. I happen to get my hands on a CF-20 before the release date. It's I think a dealer production sample. So I'm going to have a list here. I'm going to go through each item and I'm going to, compare the two mags as I go through. So let's go through it. Reliability. They'll both feed paint.
Yep.
Alright, so I'm going to shoot it now. I know I don't have a mask on, but Suzanne's behind me and I'm the one shooting. I'm shooting into the target, so safety Nazis. First we're going to try out the Fiddy. Locked in, loaded. The eyes are registering, so we're good to go. See where the sight's shooting. Huh, so it doesn't want to work. Alright, cool. And you can see the eye is red and it's not firing. That's because that follower doesn't stick up into the breech. Now that's not a paint break from this round. This round I'm using white paint. That's from earlier test with crappy paint. Alright. Now we'll try the CF-20. CF-20, load it up with some Sega paint. Seated. You can see the eye there. Alright. But that's the issue, you'll find. So that is because of that follower. It's sticking up into the breech and blocking the eyes, and the marker thinks there's still paint. So you will continue to dry fire with the CF-20. But as far as reliability goes, you can see there's multiple videos. There's this video. You can see they'll both fire paint. They're both reliable as far as spring pressure, pushing paint in your marker. They will both work. They'll both continually feed paint. The only thing I found with the Fiddy, there is a break-in period where you're going to notice some issues. If you read the manual, there are ways to speed that along just by playing with it. We'll leave that in. Just by playing with the doors, you can get them to work a little bit better. There's a little bit of flash around the outside of this hole, so if your spring release doesn't do that, you can maybe just very carefully trim the flash. But once you get past that break-in period, you kind of speed up that break-in period if you want. Fiddy's just as reliable as the CF-20, my experience, my mileage. I haven't had as much time to play with the CF-20 as I have the Fiddy, just full disclosure, but I have fired paint out of both of them. And I'll tell you, reliability, they'll both do the job, so I'm going to put that one in a tie. Weight without paint. I took these to the scale, and I might roll in some B-roll footage just to prove it to you, but I did put them both on the scale, and weight without paint, the Fiddy wins. Fiddy is 7.76 ounces without paint, whereas the CF-20 is 9.19 ounces. So if you're going for that super ultralight setup, you pulled the front handguard off your EMF 100, or you pulled the front handguard off your dam, you're not using the stocks, you're trying to get her super light and super high speed, low drag, operator style, Fiddy might be more for you. So the Fiddy wins out on weight. Ease of loading. We'll stop recording, I'll get some paint, and I'll load these up and I'll time it, but I have already timed it, and I had about 38 seconds with the Fiddy and 33 seconds with the CF-20 as far as loading, but I'll do that on camera. I'll get my lovely wife who's recording to time it, and I'll show you the loading process, alright? So I have a bag of paint like you would at the field. I've ripped it all the way open. And I'm going to start with the Fiddy. Now, I have the loading tool for the Fiddy. A friend of mine, I think she's working on a loading tool for this, but it does take 1/8 Allen keys, so in order to make the process fair, I am going to use the 1/8 Allen key to load the CF-20. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to start with the Fiddy. All right, babe, tell me when.
Go.
Dropped the ball already. Time.
29.77.
Okay, so 29.77. All right, so I'll set this guy aside. CF-20. All right, tell me when.
Go.
I'm done.
27.26.
So both about 20, both under 30 seconds. That
Yeah.
time.
Pretty close.
And I only lost, with either one, I only lost one ball. So, I mean, you guys talk about the winder versus the push system, which is fast and easier. I think I just demonstrated there that it's not, there's no huge friggin' difference between the two, right? Like, I was trying to go fast. You can see I was trying to hurry things along, but I think just on like your relaxed day, you know, you push down with this guy, you push down the paint or the follower into there, and yeah, that's easier, but then you got to load all your paint in through right there, through this little door, right? Whereas this one, yeah, you got to sit here and wind it, but that doesn't really take that long or that much effort if you have a 1/8 Allen key, which everybody does in their friggin' paintball bag. You know, you just wind that up, and sure, that takes a little bit of time, but once you do that, you open this up, and then as you saw, you just throw some paint in there. So, I mean, loading, tie, my opinion. And that leads me into the design for playing with it. Right, so I'm going to leave them loaded for this because it's also going to tie into one of my other categories on the other side of this page. But design for play, you can see the paint through this one. So when it's in your marker, you can just look at your magazine. All right, I have, I have a full 20 round. Oh, I have 15. Oh, I have 10. Oh, I only have 5 left, right? You can see that on the side of your marker, right? Whereas this one, you can't. It's completely solid. But most paintball mags can't. Where this might be an advantage is, no, I'll just use this one. Loading it into your magazine. I'm not going to lock it all the way in because it is loaded. But when you pull this out of your vest, right, I know right away, I'm holding it in my hand, I know right away which way is forward, which way is backwards, because it's curved. So I pull it out of my vest, instantly right away, I know which way this has to feed in, right? I know, like, this feels wrong, because I can feel the curve, right? So I know right away, when I pull this out, I put it back in, which way to feed it in. The curve is a huge help with that. It makes reloads a lot easier, a lot quicker. This, I feel like when I get mine in and I start playing with it, I'm going to have to load them into my pouches a certain way. Because when I pull it out, I'm going to want it already oriented in my hand a specific way to go into that mag well. Because if I don't, and I pull it up and I go to load it in, it's going to go in backwards and it won't lock in. I'm going to be sitting there frustrated fucking around with it. So that I feel like could be a disadvantage is loading, where this is completely symmetrical both sides. But the clear side could give you an advantage as far as like keeping track of your paint once it is in your marker. So easier to load, easier to keep track of your paint. Calling it a draw, guys. Calling it a draw. Now, you might have noticed a bit of this difference, and I'm going to skip forward to the stealth category for this. You're running around. You have this in your pouch. Actually, I have a pouch right here. You put this in your pouch. Right, you're on the field. And it's on your vest. Multiply that by 8. 8 pouches. 2 mags in each pouch. That's a lot of noise, right? The FIDdy. Load that into the pouch. So, I mean, if you're going to want to be super sneaky ninja, stealth, you're going to want the FIDdy. Because, I mean, like a couple of them, you can hear the spring rattle around. This one, you can't. You can't hear anything at all. So, stealth-wise, FIDdy wins. Next category, made by Canadian paintballer, UK-based big business. FIDdy wins. My books. Red-blooded Canadian. I bleed maple syrup. I'm a support Canadian business. FIDdy wins. Price. They're both priced the same. Without any discounts, anything like that, they're both $43.95 on DEFCON paintball gear. That's where I bought mine. However, you can get discounts on the FIDdy. You cannot get them on the CF-20. You can use, I used code OPPA. If you're a member of the Ontario Paintball Players Association, you know about code OPPA. You get 10% off. There's also Wolf, I believe, has a code. Nightmare Paintball, I think he has a code. Nightmare Paintball, I think I've seen around the Facebook posts and whatnot. There's a code. So there's a lot of 10% off codes for the FIDdy for DEFCON. So that lowers the price a little bit. And I'm going to give the price to the FIDdy. Durability. I mean, I'm not going to beat the crap out of my mags. This is a loaner. You're going to have to take the word from the other videos on YouTube, the reviews on either. I've seen multiple videos of this getting shot by a paintball. I've seen multiple videos of this getting shot by a paintball. Multi-hits. They'll both take a hit from a paintball, and that's about as durable as you need a paintball magazine to be. As far as like dropping it, they're both made out of impact-resistant polymer. So, I mean, normal wear and tear, they're both going to stand up. I'm going to give that one a tie as well. Moving on again, designed for EMF 100 Dam. You'll have seen in the shooting video, shooting clip I just did. This one has a long follower. Actually, I'll unload it and I'll show you. And this is another thing. Unloading is about the same for both of them as far as difficulty. There. But you'll see it has this kind of like green dog penis thing that sticks up into the breech. Once you empty out your magazine, this is going to block the eyes in the dam. It's going to cause it to dry fire, and I'm myself worried about what's going to happen to that follower. The bolt I think will be fine. The bolt's aluminum, but this follower might see some wear over time from dry firing. So what that's designed for is to block the bolt on the EMF 100, which is a mechanical marker, and that will stop you from loudly announcing to the whole world that you're out of paint. So you'll see that this one out of the box is designed for your EMF 100 marker. This guy right here, again, I'll have to unload it. And then just because I'm paranoid about breaking stuff. Oh, there's a paintball in there. All right, cool. This one doesn't stick out into the chamber and doesn't block the eyes. So this one right here is designed for the die dam primarily. This is the follower this magazine is going to ship with, right? Is the follower for the die dam. So as far as which marker either one is designed for, you're gonna have the EMF, you're gonna have the die dam. So that's the comparison right there. I think PE is going to be coming out with a follower for the die dam for the CF-20s. I know for a fact that Flint Instrument is coming out. They've announced that they've sent it to DEF CON. DEF CON's done a video on it. They are coming out with followers for this for the EMF 100, but this is primarily a DAM magazine. This one's primarily an EMF 100 magazine. So take that into account when you buy magazines. You're going to have to buy an extra follower for this one. Customization. Now, I put this category in because I looked at this one, and the first thing I thought with this one was, that's perfect for modders, right? You're going to want it, if you want to do a G36, I've seen G36 shrouds for the EMF 100. This would be perfect because it's got that curve to it. It adds to the realism of the marker. It's also slab-sided. It's completely smooth. So I can see guys taking an electro pencil or a Dremel or something and putting really cool designs on the side of this, or hydro dipping them, or you know painting or whatever, doing really cool stuff with the sides of these magazines to make them just pop out and individualize them. So modders are going to be happy with this one. The EMF 100, the CF-20 magazine, not so much. You do have a lot of texturing down the side. On this side as well as on this side, you have all those numbers. You have the little first strike symbol on both sides as well as inside the magazine. It's clear, so you kind of don't want to paint it because it'll block your view to your paint. So this one's not as friendly for modders. So customization, I'm going to say that the Fiddys went out on that one. Looks. Now this is going to be kind of objective. This is going to be my opinion. Your opinion might vary. I think they both look friggin' cool. Now they're empty. I mean, that looks so cool. That adds a new kind of flavor to the marker, right? It doesn't. It's a new, updated look. It's a fresh look to the marker. You know, it's curved, man. That's cool. It's cool. You haven't seen that in a die dam magazine ever, right? A curved mag in a marker just looks cool. It looks more realistic. So I love that. I think that looks friggin' sick like that. However, I'm a big fan of practical upgrades, practical features, and for me personally, just by like a tiny hair, just like a little itty bitty, like a really fine, like a blonde hair, this one wins out in the looks, and that is simply just because of the clear side. That's the only thing that makes it win. It's a more traditional shape, but because of the clear side, because you can watch the paint go through the magazine and then feed up into the breech, there's videos of that. I think that is so cool. That is really cool. That is a really cool practical design feature. I'm going to have to, it edges out, like I said, just by that little tiny blonde hair. Just a little, like imperceptibly, this one wins out. I mean, it's pretty even in my opinion, but the clear side gives it the edge.
Tilt it towards you. There.
Yeah, so you can see there.
Tilt it a little bit more. Right there. Perfect.
So you can see, yeah, you can see there the path that the paintballs take.
Yeah.
I think that looks cool as all hell. You get like different color paintballs. You get different color first strikes in there. It's going to look really cool. So just by a tiny little hair, this one wins out. I'm sorry. Length in the marker. Again, CF-20 wins. If you hold them up, and I'll do that right now. Hold them up so the tops are flush, and they're both sitting as they would in the marker. You're going to see that right there, just by a hair, because of the curve, the CF-20 is just a little bit shorter. So, I mean, if that's a huge thing for you, you want to make your markers small and compact and, you know, tight as possibly, that's going to probably matter to you. But just as they sit, CF-20 is just a little bit shorter, so the CF-20 wins that on it. Alright, next page. Fit in a pouch. This is going to be another one where the CF-20 wins out. Because it's straight, I have my HSGI taco here. Because it's straight, it's going to fit in most pouches, no friggin' problem. It's just going to go straight drop in. AK pouch, M16 pouch, you know, Condor pouch, HSGI pouch, they're all going to fit because as long as you can get that top in there, the whole thing will fit in there. It's straight. Whereas the Fiddy has a slight curve to it. So if there's a flap that goes over top of the pouch, if you have an older pouch or something like that along those lines, this one might not fit in it because that curve, it might end up pushing too far to one side. So just keep that in mind, that the Fiddys might not fit. I mean, realistically, if you're using a pouch that was designed for real steel anyways, this will fit, but it might not be as universal as the straight design of the CF-20. So, field strip and cleaning. Grab my Allen key again. This is going to be a bit of a long section, so I'll do the quick one first and then the other one. So, quick one first, of course, I mean the CF-20. So all you're doing, sticking that in there, same as you would load it. Wind that all the way up. Open this up. You can get in there, you know, wipe out any broken paint, any oil. Wipe this off, right? Get it all cleaned up. Put it back together. You know, put it in your gear bag, store it. Done. Fiddy. For the first little bit. Alright, so the Fiddy, on the other hand, you can use a screwdriver. That's what I did for the first little bit. I used the screwdriver on this guy because these clips here can be a little tight. There are ways to loosen them off, but you can also just grab the top clip, use the corner of it, pop that, pull back on that, out comes your spring, pull off the bottom, pull off the other bottom, take this and then very carefully separate the halves. There you got your door spring, and your spring retaining, or your spring locking, your release thing. As far as like being on the field at Wasaga or PRZ or anything like that, you know, you go to the pits because you got a ball break in your magazine, go to take it apart. You're gonna have to be very careful with your Fiddy mag because these are all very important pieces and they're all small pieces. You know, you lose this, your door's not gonna shut. You know, you lose your door, you're not gonna be able to keep paint in your mag. You know, you lose the bottom clip, the bottom's not gonna stay together as well. You're not gonna be able to load it and get it to lock in your marker without this, right? You know, this isn't, you know, your follower's not gonna stay down without your little clip. I mean, as far as cleaning it, it's super easy. You can just toss this in the sink, rinse it off, wait for it to dry, put it all back together. But there are a lot of small parts that I'm worried I'm gonna possibly lose at the field. So keep that in mind. It's easy to take apart, but there's a lot of little pieces that could maybe get lost. Alright, so I cut the video just to bring it back together, not make you watch me friggin' put it back together again. Alright, as for capacity, for these CF-20s, you're getting 20 for strike and 21 round ball. With the Fiddys, you're getting 21 first strike and 22 round ball. So you're getting an extra ball on either with the Fiddy over the CF-20. I guess the curve adds another space for another ball. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're really serious and competitive with the mag fed thing. Fiddys, they are going to have one extra of either type of ammo to keep you in the game that much longer than the CF-20s. Next section, DropFree. The manual and all the literature for the Fiddys says they'll drop free. Maybe after a few games, after I've played with it a bit, it will, but it doesn't. Myself, I don't mind that it doesn't drop free. I'm gonna want to I'm the kind of guy I want to maintain, positive control, positive physical control of my mags at all times. So when I pull a mag out, I'm going to want to have it in my hand. I'm not going to just want to drop it. And I'm going to put it back in my pouch. I'm going to grab another one. I'm going to stick it in. So for me, drop free is not an issue. But just keep in mind, Fiddys don't drop free. Whereas CF-20s drop free. Now, like I said, that could change after a few games with the Fiddys. They might start dropping free, but out of the box, and so far mine don't. So keep that in mind. Alright, it's stealth. So, conclusion. Which one would I buy more of? I think really they're equal I almost said equal markers. They're equal magazines in my mind. They both have the quality. They're both reliable. They're both have their ups and downs. It seems like everything that the Fiddy's not, CF-20 is. Everything that the CF-20 is, everything that the CF-20's not, the Fiddy is. Right? So it's kind of an either or. If you like the CF-20, you're not gonna like the Fiddy. If you like the Fiddy, you're not gonna like the CF-20. Right? Like they're kind of just like polar opposites as far as like the design language, I guess, would be the phrase to use. I don't know, but they just seem to be complete opposites. I said that already. So which would I buy? Myself, my patriotic side's going to come out for this, and I'm a little bit cheap. But I'm going to have to support local. I'm going to go for the Fiddys myself. Right now, I'm going to say that in my mind, the Fiddys win. Because they're made by a Canadian paintballer. Not only just a Canadian paintballer, they're made by an Ontario paintballer. I live in Ontario, right? So I've probably played against this guy a couple times. So I'm going to say that I'm going to be getting more Fiddy mags. Now, that's not to say I haven't bought any of these CF-20s. Like I said, I have a bunch coming in. I just happen to get my hands on this production dealer sample magazine right now. So, but I do have those coming in. But I'll probably be buying more of the Fiddys just to support a local paintballer. And, like I said, because I'm cheap and I like getting that 10% off. So, as far as what you might want to buy, I think that depends on what marker you're using, what you're going for, what your play style is. If you're more of a hard charging, front lines kind of guy, every mag fed pickup lead, you're leading every charge on every objective, you might want the CF-20s because the CF-20s are clear and you're going to be able to see when you need to reload, and you're not really worried about the whole stealth aspect of it. If you're more of a sneaky snake kind of guy, which I like to be, a lot of times you're gonna want to get the Fiddys because they're a little quieter, and you're not really worried about keeping track of your ammo because you're not shooting as much, right? It's one shot, one kill for you. So the Fiddys might be your jam. Are you running an EMF 100? You're going to want to go with the CF-20s because they're designed for your marker. They have that follower, that little green dog dongle follower that sticks up into your breech and stops you dry firing and announcing to the whole world that you're out of paint, right? So if you run an EMF, you're going to want your CF-20s. If you run a die dam, this guy's perfect for the die dam. So it's all going to be up to you. I don't think if you get one over the other, you're going to be missing out on anything, or you're going to be using the inferior mag or anything like that. I just think that they both have their pros and cons, and they're kind of like swapped. So it's up to you. Watch this video, watch Wolf's video, and I think DEF CON's coming out with another video comparing the two. Get multiple opinions and decide for yourself. Alright? Oh, I'll just put that in. Alright, so have fun on the field, stay safe, and keep your mask on, guys.